All right, so this is why I be telling people I'm Apollo, right? Because I don't care what nobody religion is, but I have to test their knowledge to see if they even studying their own religion. Because people, we have a Bible now that's called a cell phone, and a cell phone, right? It lets you look up anything you want to look up. Like, so if you reading the Bible and you don't understand the word, you can Google that word and you can look it up. It's called etymology, right? Or etymology, whichever. That's always the origin, the pronunciation, the way words are created, where it came from, all that. Because God is literally like one of the gods, but that's in the Bible itself with GAD is the God of Judaism. So people don't be understanding that, but all these different gods, that's a god of fortune. All these different gods created something different, and this is why every color is important. Because why would they create the color if it wasn't? You know what I'm saying? Like, we wouldn't have all these beautiful colors out here. Like, we call ourselves black and white, but don't even understand the origin of those words. Because black would mean the unknown. So anybody that has an unknown origin of where they came from, they will consider themselves black because they will always be in search. So that's actually a deep thinker. And then someone white is a more of an illusionist that just sees the world that they came from, and then they got walls put up, so they just accept the illusion that's around them. So then they have a white mind because they're just on the forefront of thinking. They're not thinking with the deep conscious. They're not going into their subconscious to reprogram and rethink things. Instead, they just let everything that's on the surface be that, because that's the life and that's the world that they want to live in. And that's who usually become atheists, and they become atheists because they follow so many other people's beliefs. They still haven't programmed themselves to be like, oh, I can make my own belief up in this world, or I can just, you know what I'm saying, study other people's beliefs my own so I can get an understanding of what they mean. All right. So I'm thinking like this is one example of like Apollo and me being somebody that studies origins, words. The Black Panther. I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina, where we got the Panther City, you know what I'm saying? And the Panthers is considered the Carolina Panthers because they represent both the North and the South Carolina, but they in Charlotte. So with them being in Charlotte, Charlotte was never the capital. So that was something I always question, like, why is Raleigh the capital? Raleigh brings in the most money because they have Duke and they got Chapel Hill. So with them having them two teams, they actually bring in the money for the rivalry because they got two teams going against each other, which splits up North Carolina because it's gonna be they be like, oh, you gotta be Chapel Hill, you gotta be Duke, but we can't accept both of them when both of them come from here. So that's what reminds us of the devil and this being a free will state. So all right, check this out. This is why we don't know nothing about like what people be going through eternally. Eternal life means that you live forever, but you live forever with your memory, your essence, and then going on. And because we lose our memory here, we forget the past lives that we had, and we might think that this is the only life that we get because we granted this life with a governed name that somebody else gave us, our significant other, which saying sign if I can't. So there's somebody that signed you to this world because they prayed for you to be here. And when you answer their prayers by being an angel that was delivered. So babies are always angels because they speak with expressions. They don't speak with words. That's how we first learn how to communicate. And that's why God made us redo the whole life cycle so we can learn from beginning to end how this world was even created. So when this world was first created with humans, humans did not have words. Humans communicated a different way. They communicated with expressions. So that Black Panther, right? That Black Panther comes from leopards, and they come from leopards and jaguars. They are a mutation because of the sun or whatever the environment they're in. It changed the color of their skin. So black wasn't the first people here. It was actually green. So it was an indigo color, which was going from green, purple to blue. And then somehow the pigments of the sun bronzed us because the golden age is when everybody got to like their gold color of saturation. But then that gold color separated. Boom, people got split over time. Some people darkened up, some people lightened up. Ice age came, the blood cells changed. Blood cells changing, it created a white pigment, which was a brand new mutation, and that's what they was calling like the Aryans, which was like a Mars pigment because this is the Aryan race, and those are men from Mars. It's a whole concept of where we come from, how we got here. Like I'm somebody from Venus, but you have to connect and learn with God to find out like, oh, it's more planets. Not only is it more planets, we bring information from that planet and we put it here to all construct this universe. Like, so we got teachings, but with us having teachings, this is why you see how advanced stuff get. I'm gonna give you the perfect way of it being advanced. This is why I test people Bible knowledge, because I tell somebody, oh, Jesus and Zeus the same person. But then they be thinking like, oh, no, 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 you don't believe in the crucifixion. You don't believe that the Lord. I be like, no, 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 no. I study history. I study history. With me studying history, Zeus is an incarnation. That means that he was reborn. He came in flesh. With him coming in flesh, he was the sacrifice. So he did come down here on earth as Jesus Christ. But he was Jesus Carpenter who sacrificed himself because he told men in heaven that they had to make sacrifices. With them having to make sacrifices, they didn't know what to sacrifice. That's what the Bible tells you from beginning to his time. And that's why he becomes a savior. Cain didn't know what to sacrifice. Cain thought he was supposed to sacrifice animals. He said, nah, that wasn't it. You got to sacrifice something else. Then he ended up sacrificing his brother. Like, that's what he thought that he was supposed to do. And that's how wars start, because it's a sacrificial lamb. Like, somebody has to be taken out. Abel just stands for somebody that was able to understand the spirit of God. Him doing the sacrifice of the livestock, it wasn't the fact that God read and saw what they sacrificed, but it was the mind and intentions. Like, Cain sacrificed because he wanted God to like accept his gift. Abel did it because it was like the will that God gave him to do. So it was like Abel did his command, and then Abel became the first sacrifice. So he was the one that sacrificed for men just like Jesus did. And then it goes all the way into the description of these wars that go on. And then I say, when you go outside the Bible and you look at the time, because you can speak with numbers too. Like 23 is the time that Julius Caesar got stabbed 23 times in the back. So like all this stuff is symbolic. So when you read the numbers, just like before we had text messaging, we had T9. T9 was when you had to push the button 3 times to get that, you know what I'm saying, that letter, and you had to communicate like that. So we was communicating with that, but before that, you could hear that doot, 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 that tone. That tone, that was another way that we communicated. That was rhythm. That's why you have instrumentals and beats and rhythms on every song, because that gets the body in rhythmic form. So that's like communicating to the soul. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta tap your feet when you hear it or something. Like, you gotta go along with the beat, because it's matching this beat here, and when it matches this beat here, that's another way of communicating. When you like find unconditional love, you find somebody that's like matching heartbeats with you, because it's an energy, and then y'all start even reading each other's minds, because their heart and desire, you seen they pattern, so you know what they like, you know the person they is, and it's easier to develop with them. So this is why Panthers are important, right? So we got Michael Jackson, which was like the black sheep of the family, because his family didn't think he was going to be the star he was going to be, but he knew he was going to be that star. Same thing with Jordan. That's why they got the Panther symbols, because those was two people who had father figures that was like, well, we got so many kids, I don't know, I don't have no favoritism. They became the world's favorite. Then you got this Black Panther who lost his father, right? With him losing his father, until he met his father in that astral plane, he didn't really understand what his mission was. And with his mission, he did something in the movies and outside of it. But they created this with Marvel way before they even knew this was going to happen. You know what I'm saying? With Spider-Man, the web slingers, we on the web now. Stan Lee was knowing about the internet, but he knew like as a prophet that it was going to take over, because we was going to lose our senses. The spider senses to know the intuition of what's to come. So Spider-Man get his senses anytime he's in danger. It's a reflex. And then Venom represents the black male, because we are what is like an enigma that actually came down here, and our skin color like baffle other people and stuff, because it was dark-skinned people, then it was pale-skinned people, but then they was on different types of islands until they met with each other. And Zeus was one of the Greek gods that was dark-skinned, that made it with a pale woman, and created a lot of like different Greeks, Egyptians. He had a whole bunch of children. That's why I say you study Zeus and you find out Jesus seems like he was an incarnation, because it's the same story, it's the same mindset, where it was like a powerful person that was like, bruh, I'm here to do my mission. And they came to do their mission. They came same way into this world to save their brothers and sisters from the world that they was in. So Zeus came when they was stuck in Kronos, and now I feel like shit, we in Jesus' body. Like that's the whole thing of it. Like when you get the Christ mindset, when you see beyond the spectrum and you be like, oh man, this is a world that he created for us. But it's other people out here read the Bible text wrong because you got the healers on the outside and the healers on the inside. So like Deadpool, I did it opposite, but Deadpool heals on the outside, Wolverine heals on the inside. So you don't see his pain, but you see Deadpool's.